So this is going to be about validating yourself, okay? You validate yourself, not giving your power away and breaking out of this toxic cycle of psychics and tarot readers and all the other external influences that seem to derail us. We're constantly looking for validation on the outside because we're human beings, and let's face it, it's quite comforting, isn't it, to get that external validation. I mean, as much as I love my imaginal world, I can't just stay there and live through that all the time. No, I'm going to come back to this 3D reality, and I'm going to be faced with the prospects of, okay, my 5 earthly senses are not picking up on this ideal reality just yet. Is it happening? Let's check in with a psychic. Let's have a look at some of these one card pulls, and let's talk to a tarot reader. And yeah, I've talked to this tarot reader a few times, and what they say tends to come true, and now they've given me this bad news about my SP. Now, how many of you are going through this? Because it's actually more damaging than I've realized. A lot of you are even calling yourself addicts to the tarot reads and the psychics. I actually had a client / friend of mine who was very addicted to them, calling them up all the time. She said she spent an absolute fortune, and like I've shared before, she was told, I would say about 90% of the time, that her SP was not going to get in touch again, that was it, kind of thing. And I just knew that wasn't true. So maybe my intuition told me otherwise, but I knew that wasn't true. I didn't accept that for her, and I kept on telling her not to accept it, so that they didn't know what they were talking about. Of course, she still got pulled into it because it becomes habitual, and I can't blame her. But guess what? 2 years later, SP came back. So all of them were wrong at the end of the day. Why is that? Because our intentions are what's most important. I want to teach all of you, be your own psychic, be your own tarot reader. And maybe if you just stay for this video and just gain an understanding why no one else can dictate what your future holds, even the naysayers in your life, even if your parents or your friends are telling you, no, don't do it, you can't, you don't have the skill, this person isn't good enough for you, there's too much competition, I don't know, the government's telling you it's impossible, or anything that's sort of telling you no, or telling you something you don't want to hear. Any time in the past that you've set an intention for something and you have come across any sort of naysayer, the common answer that I get from clients when I ask them, how did you deal with that, is that they just disregarded it, that they just dismissed it, that they just didn't accept it. Okay, but why is it when it comes to shaman and tarot readers and astrologers and all the rest of it, do we take such we take that to be final, and we give our power away? Remember, there is no power outside of you. No one can create your reality except for you. And I know there's some tarot readers and that who even watch this channel as well, and even they have stated too that they always say to their clients, yeah, the future is not set in stone, it's forever changing. And that's the healthy mindset to have. We go for fun. You know, I've got like a set of tarot cards, right? And I used to just read them for fun. I haven't used them for ages, but I used to just enjoy it. Let me just see. And the thing is, I would do readings, and I would read them pretty much consistently, and then sometimes I would get a different reading and that, and well, why is that? If it was set in stone, if I was truly reading the future, then why is it changing at all? Why is it I could go from one tarot reader to another and get, you know, different messages? And also, if you really pay attention, the messages are so generic that it applies to anybody. We have, you know, I had someone on the Discord community, and that's what gave me the inspiration for this video, that she was completely derailed by what I think it was a psychic or someone had said, and she was just like, yeah, this psychic is, you know, she's usually right and everything. And I went to ask her, and I was told that SP is going to be like this, SP is going to be hot and cold. Okay, great. Everyone is hot or cold, right? Because everyone has good and bad days, right? So if I see that my SP is just having a bit of a stressful day, oh my God, now, you know, now because the psychic predicted it, I'm going to be like, okay, that's the hot and cold that the psychic was talking about. Oh my God, they don't love me anymore. This is all falling down. And we sabotage ourselves. Based on what? You see, they're so general. Sometimes I ask people, okay, what did the tarot reader said? And it was so general. If I really wanted it to, I could apply it to my own life, because that's what we do. You're going to these people because you deem them specialist in some way, right? They have a special gift or a special talent to read the cards. It's not one way to read the cards. Everyone interprets the cards differently. There are numerous, infinite meanings to each card, right? There's not even a set meaning to each card. So what that means is the tarot reader themselves will read the cards. They're reading themselves because that's all they can read. I cannot experience life outside of myself. I cannot. Even if I try to see life through the eyes of Rachel, I could step into Rachel's shoes and that, but I'm still doing it through the concept of myself, just Athena pretending to be Rachel, okay? So I can't see through anyone else's eyes and experience, and that's why tarot readers they will reflect their own beliefs, their own limitations, their own anxieties, their own interpretations of their client and how they're looking at them and their body language, and that's what they're reading. That's all they could read. So when they read to you, they're reading themselves in many ways in that sense. Just like when you listen to them, you're reading yourself. You're taking whatever they're saying and you're making it your truth. If you are hyper anxious, then yes, if they mention something like, oh, going to be hot and cold and you and your SP are, going to break up, what's that going to do? A person of authority has just told you this news. You're going to take it as truth and you're going to end up manifesting it, because now what's going to happen is I'm going to look for it. I'm in expectancy of it. Now my reticular activating system is set to SP is going to go cold on you and this relationship's going to break down. So now I'm going to interpret every little thing that poor SP does as they're being cold. Oh no, they didn't message straight away. Oh, yep, they say they're having a bad day, but I bet they're not. I bet it's really about me. And that's why it can be really toxic and detrimental. So if you realize that you're doing this and you're on these one card pulls, I mean, how can it be one card pull? How can it be that it reflects millions and millions of people the same story? It's a little bit like when I used to read the horoscopes. I used to love the daily horoscopes as a little girl, looking through the magazines. Let's see what's happening for Taurus this month. And of course, I would kind of think to myself, be like, so how come every single Taurian on this planet is going to be having like issues with money this month, or hardships at work, or they're all going to meet a mysterious stranger or something? How can that be? But literally, it is what we make it mean. And the reason I wanted to put this out there was just because so many of you are getting addicted to it. And then when you get a reading that you don't like, you get extremely anxious, you forget your power, you forget who you are. I mean, Neville Goddard, he used to be into astrology. He would do astrological charts and he was very, very good at it, very accurate. But that was because of his concept in himself. Just like me, I have a concept of self, that I'm a great coach, I get a lot of success. And that's why I get so much success. I suppose my knowledge of psychology and that really helps my clients, because I shift and I change their state and their mental well-being like really easily, really quickly. All of you have worked with me, you never come out of the session the same way. You are always pumped and hyped and you've got amazing tools. And it's the same with Neville Goddard as well. He had this strong intention that he was really good, and so people would travel far and wide for these astrological charts. But there was no power in the charts. There was no truth in the charts. But he would read them and people would take on his readings, and of course they would manifest it. So there's a famous story that Neville had shared that he had taught, I don't know who it was, but a friend of his, this lady, to read the charts, and she became very, very good at it. But what had happened was she had read this gentleman's chart and she had told him about, yep, this deal that you're going to be making is going to be really good. There's a lot of money in it. It's all going to go through perfectly. And I'm so confident in this. In fact, you can give me $100 or something. And the guy was like, you know what? I will send it over to you once I've gotten that deal, if that's the case. And she was adamant about it. Now, he goes off and the woman realizes that at some point the wind, so she had the window open and the wind had blown the charts over, and she actually read the wrong chart. She read the chart for a completely different person, born in a completely different era. And so she gave this guy this reading, and she contacted Neville and she was crying and she was very upset. And Neville said, well, there's nothing you can do. It is done. It is done. Did you believe it when you were telling him and stuff? And she was like, yes, absolutely did. So Neville was like, it's done. And of course, it then manifests, and he got the outcome and she got the $100. Okay, some of you might know this story, and if you haven't heard it, check it out. You might have to research, because I can't remember. I've watched and I've heard so many of Neville's lectures, so I can't pinpoint where everything is. But it surprised me that even he was into astrology. But of course, he had to buy the pearl of great price, which means we have to essentially, well, it's ideal to drop a lot of these sorts of beliefs that could be holding you back, with the tarot cards, with this theory, with that theory, with astrology, I mean, it has its uses and it can be fun, but it's not great and it's not fun anymore when we become addicted to it, when we become dependent and reliant on it. And then you're going to people who have no power over you. You're psychic. You are your own psychic. You are as psychic as someone who claims themselves to be a psychic. Just because they claim I am a psychic, that doesn't make them more psychic than you are. If you were to claim I am a psychic and believe that, you'll start to have similar experiences. We all have intuitive feelings. We all have gut reactions. All of us have been through a point where we have had a gut feeling about something and it came to fruition, right? We're manifesting. So instead of manifesting what someone else is telling you, someone who doesn't really know about you or your life as well half the time, you decide. Claim back your power, stop giving it away, okay? It's the same with these twin flame theories and that. You know, these are man-made. But the thing is, if you believe in these theories, this is everything that is in the 3D reality, by the way, okay? Because all we are is our God self, higher self, that's all that there is. But say we believed in these other theories as well, like if I strongly believed in twin flame, as many people do, I'm going to experience that. But twin flame theory has its own limitations as well. So I will take on those limitations too, and all the other stuff that goes with it, which again, I've heard from clients, has had a very detrimental impact on their life. And that's why I say to them, really, we strip ourselves of all of these because it just doesn't play a part. When it comes to manifestation, this stuff with astrology and tarots and all the rest, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't have any power unless you give it the power. Use it as a tool, use it because it's fun, use it as a technique if you want to help you shift states, right? I had a great read and I'll take that on and I'll manifest that and that. Fine, you can use it like that. But if it's having an impact on your life and it's made you anxious because you just had a really bad reading as well, I want you to remember this. Remember this and watch this video and just be reminded of who's in charge here. You don't need to manifest that. There is no future to predict because there's only now. Future does not exist, neither does the past. So what are we predicting here? You know, there's nothing there. You predict. You went into your imaginal act in the future, you made it your home, you've just predicted the future. Well done, congratulations. Now live your life knowing that you're a psychic and that's the outcome you're going to get. How do you feel when you think about that, when you step into that state? You're the psychic. Decide, okay? So I really hope that this helped you out, got you to claim your power back and alleviated some of your anxiety because some of you are really struggling with this. Thank you for joining me as always, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.